Hello.
Hello, Internet. This is Samuel Huber from InclusionTube and his own personal YouTube channel, Samuel Huber and SamuelHuber.net. I'm here with Amy, who is our fearless leader in Inclusion Fest, and we're doing a new segment called Amy's Hour, where she lets us know the latest in Inclusion Fest things and anything to do with inclusion. All right, Amy, welcome to Amy's Hour.
Thank you so much for having me and for all the work you've put into creating this platform.
You're welcome. So how are you doing in the face of the uh, situation that the whole world's in?
I'm doing okay. Sometimes it feels overwhelming and scary not knowing, what to anticipate next and feeling worried about loved ones. But I have a lot of things to be grateful for, a comfortable house and space to be outside and the ability to still see some of my clients for speech language therapy online. So for those things, I'm grateful.
Very cool. How is the whole situation with the coronavirus affecting Inclusion Fest right now?
It's definitely affecting our ability to move forward in plans. It's the music industry is not really booking right now. It's people don't really want to make and commit to plans because they don't want to have to cancel and reschedule. And vendors and sponsors and other types of participants are also hesitant at this time to make contributions and commitments. um, but myself and Leah, my co-producer, we're both doing really well, and we're taking it one day at a time, um, and doing what we can with the community that we have that we're really grateful for. And we'll see how things play out for this year.
Very cool. What are some ways that families can practice inclusion while staying at home?
That's a great question. Well, I think one way to practice inclusion is just to be aware of the way that the current situation is affecting different populations, people who have disabilities, but also different communities, different socioeconomic classes, different races, different cultural groups, are all being affected in different ways. So I think one thing that families could do at home is to talk about the ways that people are being impacted by this and how their day-to-day lives and their challenges might look a bit different from our own. So, in a broad sense, I think that's one way to practice and be aware of inclusion at home at this time. And more specific to the festival, we've created an online platform where people can connect and get ideas for positive things to do at home while we're in this situation together.
Uh, Very cool. Are you planning to do any videos or like group chats that people can jump in on when it comes to Inclusion Fest, so they can have something to do while being stuck inside?
Yeah, not exactly a video chat yet, although that's something that we may offer in the future, some kind of community chat. But right now, what we've organized is something that we're calling inclusion zones. It's a virtual gathering space where people can come and check out every day. It's a Facebook group. And each day there's a different theme, and there's different activities and suggestions, videos, and ways to get away from the screen, as well as videos and activities that you can watch and participate in on the screen. And each day it has a different theme that is aligned with the programming, the way that we organize programming at Inclusion Festival. So there's a creation zone and an expression zone and a love zone. And if you've been to Inclusion Festival, you'll recognize all the themes because you can find them in our sensory zones at the festival. So now you can kind of have a virtual sensory zone experience on Facebook groups.
Very cool. Can you go into a little more depth about what each of these zones is? What's a love zone, for example?
Great question. The Love Zone is all about ways to practice self-love and to show love for others. So we've done things like sharing positive affirmations. Um, we shared a live stream of a concert from an artist named Brady Reimer. He performed at Inclusion Festival in 2018, and his album is all about loving yourself for exactly who you are and celebrating all abilities. Um, so that's the Love Zone. It's activities that encourage love, compassion, and acceptance of ourselves and others through things like self-care, community service, music, more.
Very cool. What about the other zones? You said what's a sensory zone?
Well, a sensory zone is a place at Inclusion Festival where you can go to take a break, find some items and furniture to relax, and also some ongoing activities that may be calming and regulating for you. Um, the inclusion zones online I'll go through the themes. Mondays, we have the root zone. Those are activities that support relaxation, emotional regulation, mindfulness, and empathy. So, for example, today, a good friend of mine, Michelle, created a video that's a 3-part breathing exercise, and we shared that this morning. And Michelle owns a yoga studio. She teaches at Inclusion Festival, and she has online classes that you can find throughout the week. On Tuesdays, we share activities aligned with creation. It's the creation zone. So those are activities that spark creativity through various forms of art and play. We've had live drawing tutorials. Tomorrow will be some live painting by a good friend of ours who's been at both inclusion festivals, things like that. Last week, Leah, my co-producer and co-founder, led a play-based yoga jam. So playful yoga movements set to familiar and lively tunes. So that's the creation zone. Wednesdays is about balance. In the balance zone, you can find activities that promote physical, mental, and emotional balance through things like yoga and exercise and tips for time management. There'll be a visual schedule, a suggestion for how you can organize your days. This might be something that you might want to share some more on. Sam, I know that kind of sounds like the workshop that you taught last year at Inclusion Festival was about balancing your time, right? A little bit?
Yeah, it was a bit about balancing your time and finding systems that work for you as an adult with who's neurodiverse or has any kind of special needs. And this is like the perfect time for anyone out there to practice because you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, so like my suggestion is like practice different systems at home. You can create a sensory zone in your house, like your favorite chair, with your favorite sensory toys all in one place. And creating sensory bags is another huge one, like things you can carry on the go. Um, and it's a big time for introspective, looking inward, and like you find, like you said, self care and love. Um, and if you're looking for tips on how to do it, going to Inclusion Fest on Facebook is a perfect place to find tools, and continuing to follow us on Inclusion Tube. We're going to review other teachers of self love, yoga, and all sorts of things that you would find at a normal Inclusion Fest. So even if we don't have it physically this year, we'll have it on the net one way or another.
Yeah, we
And
definitely will. I'm glad we've already started. Do you want me to tell you about the remaining zones?
sure.
Um, so we talked about the love zone, that's Thursdays. Fridays is the expression zone. Those are activities that foster self-expression and self-advocacy. So far, we've done things like drumming, connected pen pals. There'll be music opportunities, and other mediums that facilitate conversation and connection and things like that. Saturdays is the connection zone, creative ways to connect with others in new and thoughtful ways. And finally, Sunday is the nature zone, activities that emphasize our unity and gratitude for all the ways we can find peace by exploring nature and being in nature.
Excellent. Okay, so how can people get involved? For example, how can other spiritual teachers, therapists, anyone who wants to throw their 2 cents into the inclusion movement, how can they get involved in such a movement?
they can send us an email with an idea, or they can also fill out our online form, which you can find in the group description at facebook.com/groups/inclusion zones. I should get that application up on the website. It's not yet, but it will be. I'll
All
add the
right, folks, it'll
application.
be up there shortly.
Yeah, I'll upload the link to apply and share an idea, a class, a photo. I mean, it really can be anything you'd like to share or contribute to these zones. So yeah, you can look for that on the website soon.
Very cool. Let's see. Do you have any messages for the people at home before we end this week's Amy's Hour?
Messages, I think, to remember that we're all in it together, and that this will pass, and there'll be a lot of hardships and challenges that we'll learn from. I think that a lot of people are going to learn positive things from this, and well, parts of it are really scary and really, really real, and there's definitely suffering. There's everything has an opportunity for inspiring positive changes, and um, if you are fortunate enough to be healthy and safe at home, even though families might be annoying and you might feel pent up and stuck at times, there's a lot to be grateful for if you have a place to be safe and healthy, and there's a lot of things that we can do together, ways to connect and ways to improve ourselves and our lives while we're here in this situation.
Excellent, Amy. Until next time, folks, this is Amy's Hour. This is me and Amy signing off. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.